Hello! So as promised, this is a bonus video about Witches or Witchcraft TV series that you've never watched. So let's take a look. So this is going to be a list of sort of TV hidden gems about witches or witchcraft that you might not have seen before. So we've got Dark Willow from Buffy for the occasion. So this is going to be obviously a sort of synopsis of each TV series. I do things fairly spoiler free, but I will be letting you know how many seasons or series of each show there is, just so that you don't get to the end and think, well, where's the next one? Because some of these are one season wonders, unfortunately. But yeah, let's take a look. So first up, we have The Secret Circle, and this is, oh, you staying? No, she's out of here. So first up we have The Secret Circle, and this is from 2011, and there is only one season of this, so this is our first one season wonder. This one centres around a girl called Cassie who moves to a sort of small remote town and starts high school there. So Cassie joins a group of 5 students who are also witches, and she quickly finds out that she's slightly more powerful than all of them, and she starts to have some kind of battle with some of the people that are actually sort of running the town. Some of the effects in this show were really great, and I actually quite liked most of the characters. They were quite well fleshed out by the end of the first season. I think this one did quite well, found an audience, but just didn't have the ratings that maybe the TV bosses were expecting. So obviously it got cancelled, like many TV shows that we all know and love. But if you can find Secret Circle, definitely go and check it out. So next up we have Emerald City. This is from all the way back in 2017, and this is another one season wonder. This one is obviously, as the title suggests, a retelling of The Wizard of Oz. It's a modern day version of it. It's very stunning, it's twisted, it's very dark, but I just love this. It was very lavish, it was really, really cool, and just had some fantastic special effects as well. But the witches in this are really one of the main focus points of it. It's got people like Jolie Richardson and Vincent D'Onofrio in it. I was quite surprised that it didn't go any further, but yeah, if you can find Emerald City, check it out. It is so good, and I really, really hope that one day this story either gets picked up in some other way, because I think that it just had a lot more to say and could have gone on to do a lot more of the Oz books as it went on. So yeah, have a look for Emerald City. I thought it was great. So now we have a TV series called Salem. This is from all the way back in 2014, and this time you have 3 seasons. So this one is obviously a retelling of the sort of 17th century witch trials, and it's a very, very dark sort of gothic and horror series. I loved this. I thought it was very, very cool. Just a very slow burn as well. It was quite intense, and it didn't sort of spoon feed you everything. I quite liked that it was something that didn't necessarily need binge watching. You could sort of dip in and out of it, but just still really enjoy it. The show featured actors like Lucy Lawless from Xena Warrior Princess and Xander Berkeley, who was in the first Candyman, and just had some fantastic performances in it. And yeah, as I say, 3 seasons of it, so go and check it out. Salem was so much fun. Next up we have a show called Hex, and this is one that I've mentioned previously on this channel, so if you check out my 10 horror series you might have missed video, you'll have seen it there as well. But this one is from 2004, and there is 2 seasons of this one. Both seasons are a little bit different in tone, I think, but I really, really enjoyed this. Again, this is about a young girl who sort of discovers that she is a witch, but also from a sort of line of witches. She goes to a boarding school and starts to discover her powers. Her best friend becomes a ghost in this, who's a great character as well. She's really cool. And also this one features a young Michael Fassbender. But I really, really love this. And also the titles for this program, they used a song by my favourite band, Garbage. They used a song called Number One Crush. However, If you watch it on streaming, they've replaced it with another song. So like they did with Dawson's Creek and a few other shows, if they don't have the rights to that specific song, they replace it with something that they think sounds similar. So that's what happened to this one. But if you have it on DVD, it has garbage on it. But yeah, if you can find Hex, it's really, really good fun and definitely got some Buffy vibes in there. So now we have a show called Eastwick, and this is from 2009, and again there is one season of this, and as the title suggests, this one is based on the Witches of Eastwick, so the movie with Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson, Susan Sarandon. It's that one. It's basically turned into a TV series, and this one centres around three women who are basically given powers, sort of witchcraft powers and gifts by a man that comes to town who is essentially the devil. It's a really wacky show. If you like things like Charmed, things like that, it's really fun. It's quite nice. It does have a sort of campy comedy vibe to it as well. So Eastwick features actors like Rebecca Romaine, who was in Ugly Betty, and also she was Mystique in the first few X-Men movies, and John Bernthal, who was the Punisher, and also he was in The Walking Dead at the beginning, but also it features Veronica Cartwright, who was in the original Witches of Eastwick movie. She was the lady that fell down the stairs. It was like, oh honey, I broke my leg. That one. So she's in it as well, which is a great little cameo. I quite like that. So yeah, go and find Eastwick. It's good fun. So next up, very similar to Eastwick, we have The Witches of East End. Now this is from 2013, and there was 2 seasons of this one. And this one centres around a mother and her 2 daughters, and they are obviously all witches. They're from a long line of witches, and they're trying to discover their powers, but also battling forces and sort of demons that are trying to take them from them. This one had some great effects, and also the sort of dynamic between the main characters was really nice as well. They had good chemistry, and there is a huge twist in this show as to where their powers come from and where they're all from. So it's really good to actually see something that sort of takes a big left turn and just sort of runs with it. So yeah, if you can find The Witches of East End, there's 2 seasons of it, go and check it out. So next up we have a show called The Good Witch, and this one lasted for a whopping 7 seasons and had multiple TV movies. It's only just reached the UK for some reason, but it's finished now. This one is from the Hallmark Channel. So for those of you who don't know, the Hallmark Channel in America is a network where they make very sort of sickly sweet, kind of cheesy TV shows or movies, particularly known for their Christmas movies. They've made hundreds of them. So this show is from that. So it's very family friendly, it's very cute, it's very sort of rom-com vibes, that kind of thing. It's about a mother and daughter who are witches and are good witches, and sort of what happens when a new neighbour moves in with his son. I didn't really get on with this one probably as well as some of the other series on this list because it was a little bit too sickly sweet for me, but if you want something that's, as I say, like a rom-com, family friendly vibes, that kind of thing, then this is definitely one to check out, and there is a lot of it. So now I can't really do a TV Witches and Witchcraft list without mentioning American Horror Story. For those of you who don't know, this is a TV show that is like an anthology series. So each season is its own contained series and it has its own contained theme. They mostly use the same actors, and it's all kind of set in the same universe. So some of the actors and some of the characters will turn up in different seasons. Now season 3 is called Coven, and it's all about a school of witches, a little bit like the X-Men, where they teach these witches to sort of harness their powers because they all have very individual powers. I really enjoyed this series. I think it's great. The characters are fantastic. They're very iconic, and the actors just really owned all of the characters. Angela Bassett and Kathy Bates are fantastic in these roles in season 3. Because of this season's popularity, they did a sort of sequel season and brought the witches back in season 8, which is called Apocalypse, and I would say that one is a sequel to sort of seasons 3, which is Coven, and season 1, which is The Murder House. So if you watch those 2 as well, you'll probably enjoy season 8 more. I really like this show. It's fun. There are some seasons that are better than others, and they don't tend to stick the landing with the endings of each season. Some of them can be a little bit clunky or a little bit rushed, but it's still a great show to watch, and especially if you love the Witches, Coven is fantastic. So next up we have a show called Motherland, Fort Salem, or just Fort Salem, depending on where you are in the world. And this one is from 2020, and there is 3 seasons of this. Now the good thing about this one is it did get an ending. So even though it got cancelled, it did sort of wrap up the whole story in the end of the 3rd season. It was a little bit rushed and it got a little bit messy in the final season, but I think that's because they wanted to have an ending to it. It deserved a conclusion. This one is fantastic. I finished it most recently, and it's just a wonderful series. So this one is all about witches that go into the army. So after witches were sort of persecuted about 300 years ago, they made a deal with the US government so that they would basically serve in the army and have their own sort of part of the army to utilize their powers. And in this world, they are able to basically use the power of their voice to create spells and create magic. So it's basically using your voice to change the world around you, which is a great metaphor, and it works perfectly in the actual show. It's very, very creative in the way that they do their spells and in the way that the magic actually works. So I highly recommend this one. I really, really enjoyed it, and I will say the way that they've created the universe and the world that these characters live in is fantastic. I wish it had a little bit longer to sort of flesh out some of the stories that they were obviously trying to tell long term. But yeah, if you can find Motherland, Fort Salem, then definitely check it out. It's great. So before our final pick, I want to hear from you. So what's your favourite witchy TV series? Did it make this list? And also, do you have any recommendations? Is there any series that I haven't mentioned that you think should be on this list? Let me know, because I've had some amazing recommendations from people on YouTube, especially like horror movies and TV series, things like that. It's just been fantastic. So thank you so much. And also, what's your favourite TV witch? Now, I grew up with sort of witches like Grotbags and Winsome Witch, and to some extent Bewitched as well, obviously Samantha from Bewitched, but as I got older, Willow from Buffy obviously is a personal favourite. But what's yours? So for our final pick, we have quite a new series, and this one is called Mayfair Witches. It's from 2023. There's only 1 season so far, but the good news is it's actually been renewed for a 2nd season, so that's already a good sign. So hopefully it sticks around. But this one is based on an Anne Rice series of novels, and this is all about a neurosurgeon who is basically discovering more about her powers and about her lineage as a witch. The show has a really sort of decadent feel to it, and that's something that I think Anne Rice does very well. She's very good at sort of doing sort of period horror, but also making things feel very sort of lavish and very cool and very sexy, and this one is no different. I'm only halfway through the 1st season, but I'm absolutely loving it, so I had to put it on this list. I'm hoping that in future seasons we get to see all these characters unfold and their abilities grow, but there's been some amazing special effects so far, and I'm really enjoying it, so I hope that it sticks around. So yeah, Mayfair Witches. So that's it. That's 10 witch or witchcraft TV series that you might have missed. Now, if you go away and watch any of these, make sure you come back and let me know, pop it in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.